What's going on, everybody? It is KJ McCoy and Nygreedy, and today we have a very special guest, former Super Bowl champion Brad Johnson. Welcome in, Brad. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys reaching out. And we'll tell some stories and have a little fun here. So it'll be great.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
it's
Sounds
an honor.
good.
It's really an honor to have you on tonight.
And thank you guys for joining in, either from TikTok or YouTube. Guys, go follow Brad. He's on TikTok as well. He has one of the best trick shot channels I probably have ever seen on TikTok. So go check him out. And he's always making them. I swear, I'm looking at the videos. I'm like, how the heck do you make that? So it's insane. So he's not just a former NFL player. He also can do trick shots as well. So, yeah, let's get into it. And Austin, would you do the honors first?
First question?
Yep.
Alrighty. First question for you, Brad. What made you fall in love with the game of football, and what aspects do you love most?
Yeah. I grew up playing sports. I grew up in Black Mountain, North Carolina, and I love playing sports. I played them all: baseball, football, basketball, all the above. And as I got older, it became football or basketball for me. And I couldn't decide at that point what I was going to be better at. To be honest with you, at that time in high school, I was better at basketball. My dream was to be like Larry Bird and Chris Mullin and all those guys, And but as it went on, I felt like I had more potential in football. I was a 6'5" guy, that kind of prototypical guy, more like a guy when I was coming out. That was where they were kind of building the quarterback of that stature, and so I had to make a decision. So I went with football, and but I think for me, honestly, I love just like I love putting my hand on the football. Like,
Right.
It just feels good, And then just I love the feeling of throwing it, letting it come off my finger, and just it's that feeling. Like you'll see it a lot of times with golfers, like it's just that feeling of what does that driver sound like? What is that pitching wedge from? What is that sand wedge out of a trap? Like, what is that feeling of the putter of making a clutch putt? And that's what it is for me with football. I love throwing in the backyard. I love playing in the NFL, and I love now. I'm done playing, but I love coaching. I love helping others believe in themselves. I love to get guys that believe in that they can be better than what they already are, and that there's a lot of potential out there if they just give themselves a chance. And so I love all the aspects of football. The greatness about football, it can't be dominated by one player. It's a team game. It's offensive linemen. It's your receivers. It's a tight end. It's your running backs. It's your defense. It's your kicker. It's your punter. It's special teams. It's your coach. It takes a lot of people to be involved, and so I just love every aspect of the game of football.
Awesome. That's an awesome story.
That is awesome. All right, so I'll go to my question. Did you always want to pursue football? I mean, you kind of already answered the question, but I guess I'll ask it again.
Yeah, and I can go a little bit deeper with you. My goal was to play to be a basketball player. I never missed a day growing up playing basketball from my second grade all the way through my freshman year of college. I was an all-state player coming out of high school, scored 2,400 points. I wanted to play for a guy named Bobby Crimmins at Georgia Tech. I went to all his camps as a little kid, and I grew up as a Michael Jordan fan. I grew up in the ACC, loved it, loved basketball. And so when I went on my recruiting trip to Georgia Tech, the coach there, Bobby Crimmins, he's like, Brad, what do you think you're best at? And I said, well, I'm best at basketball now, but I have more potential in football as it goes on. And he told me at that time, he said, Brad, I got a guy named Dennis Scott that's coming in here. And Dennis Scott ended up playing 11 years in the NBA. And He says, Brad, I only play 5 guys. And you know that you'd play behind Dennis Scott, you get a scholarship here, but you'll be behind him. So Dennis Scott changed my life. He didn't even know it. Then he probably didn't know who I am. But, I chose to go to Florida State to be a football player and then hopefully make the professional level. And I just got better and better over time is what happened with me. But I love basketball, but I felt like I had more potential in football.
That's awesome. I could totally relate because, I mean, I've been playing basketball. I love basketball since I was 7. But at the same time, though, I have more of a passion for football, though, and just watching it. So I could totally relate with that for sure.
Yeah. Basketball is something you can just go in your backyard and shoot. It's fun. Like you play horse or just make up trick shots or whatever you're doing and playing some pickup park. And football, you can't really do that. But football is a little bit more of a grind, but
Yeah,
The success you have when you win ball games there's no greater feeling to me when you succeed and win ball games in football.
exactly. Yeah, it is harder to get pickup football games going. I've noticed that for sure.
Need a lot of
So,
people for it.
especially when there's no field goals or anything like that, it's a little
Right.
harder. People are like, oh, you know what? There's a basketball hoop right there. I'd rather just stick with that and just that's what I'll do. But
Se- actually, since you're, I'm a Florida State football fan. Actually, funny enough, and I loved them since I was from day one. My dad turned me into a Florida State football fan from the day I was born, and now I'm still a fan, which
Yep. Yep.
is awesome. So, and it's awesome hearing you're from Florida State too. So,
Yeah, I got to play for Bobby Bowden there,
oh
and
man, that coach.
he actually passed away this past year, but he's the head coach at Florida State for 34 years. It's incredible. Won over 360 games, something like that. And to say he was my coach, one of the all-time great legends. Obviously, he won two national championships. He lost in three others, but I was at the beginning of a 14-year run in 1987 when I committed to him, and that we finished in the top four, won over 10 games every year, and those kind of things. It was just an awesome school to go to and say he was my coach and be a part of us, to be a Seminole.
Mm-hmm. So, jumping into the next question, if you could go back and change one thing during your NFL career, what would it be and why?
Um, as far as as far as my work ethic, I would not change that a bit. As far as like lifting weights and running, wouldn't change that in my off season. Getting prepared for games. I think the biggest thing I would honestly change looking back would have been my diet, to be honest with you, nutrition. So now it's a big deal, bigger than it was when I was coming out. I mean, I was the guy drinking, Coca-Cola and pizza the night before a game. And I mean, I was ready to go the next day, that kind of guy. I was just, I would have changed my diet looking back at it. I was able enough to still play 17 years. I loved it, but that's one thing I would have changed probably about my career.
hey, it shows that pizza still works.
It does. It's not.
still
That's
works.
not an exciting answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But honestly, looking back, that's the one thing I would change, my
Right.
diet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because diet is very important, no matter what sport you play.
Exactly. So the next question I have is, which stadiums and teams were your favorites to play against and why?
Yeah, my career, I played for Minnesota for 9 years, Washington for 2 years, Tampa Bay for 4 years, and Dallas for 2. I love playing. I love playing up in Lambeau Field. There's a big mystique there. Just the history of the team, the stadium. It's just a cool place. It's kind of a little neighborhood that you would never imagine there's a stadium, and it's an awesome place to play, especially when you win. I love playing in New York City for some reason. I felt like I always had some of my better games when I just went to New York. You knew those were going to be in primetime games and those kind of things. So those are probably my two favorite away stadiums to go to.
I know that was just killing Austin in his soul right there. He heard you say they were winning in New York, and he was. I could see his eyes. He was like, "Oh God, he just mentioned New York."
It's really cool. Let me tell you this: when I played for Washington Redskins, I was a Redskin. I call that now the Commanders, but when I was there, my first year in Washington, we actually played the Giants. So we stayed at this one hotel. Then we went in there. You got the whole stadium looks like it's blue,
Right.
And we won big. We won like 50-20 or something like that. Then the very next week went back to New York. We played the Jets, and so we stayed in the same hotel. We walked into the stadium, like a completely different stadium. It was green and Jets, Jets. You know what I mean? So it was kind of that thing. It was pretty wild, but it felt like I was in two different stadiums, even though it was the same one, just because of the fans, the fan base, and the colors.
Yeah, that is crazy to think that. I mean, I always think in my mind, like, wow, the Jets and the Giants, they play at the same stadium. And, like, the way and the preparation they have every week just to change the stadium and just change the whole aspect of it is just – and it's insane. And I think they do that now with the Chargers and the Rams now. So, but they have very similar colors. So I guess it's a little bit of a different transformation, an easier transformation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The hardest part for the Jets is, I mean, Giants, they actually practice there at the stadium.
Right.
And so the Jets, they got to kind of get across, I mean, so that's a little bit more work for the Jet players organization.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. Next question is how did it feel to bring a Super Bowl to a franchise that has never won a Super Bowl before during your
Yeah.
because now
Yeah.
they got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. There's 35 quarterbacks that have won a Super Bowl. I think there's been 46 presidents. There's been like 66 or 67 guys that have won the Masters, about 140 or so people that won the Kentucky Derby. So,
Right.
I mean, so it's kind of an exclusive club to be, a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So when I chose, I was leaving Washington as a free agent, and there's a couple teams I was looking at, but when I went to Tampa Bay, there's two reasons why I went there. One is a more secure contract that I felt that I was going to get with the bonus money and all that kind of thing. And then the other was they never won a Super Bowl. They'd had three other quarterbacks that had left the organization with Doug Williams, who won it in Washington, Steve Young, who had left, who won it with the 49ers, and Trent Dilfer, who left and went to Baltimore and won it with the Ravens. So I really, I mean, honestly, I want to be the first quarterback to win it for that franchise. And it was a big deal to me. The last time that they'd won a Super Bowl in the state of Florida was 1972 and 73 with Bob Greasy. So it just hadn't been done. And then it happened 2 years ago with Tom Brady. So to say I was the first, it's pretty cool.
For
That's
sure.
awesome,
That is awesome.
man.
Even though I know that it was against my Eagles, you guys beat it. It was our last game at Veterans Stadium too, and my dad was like, you better mention a little bit of this game to him. And I was like, all right, well maybe a little bit. But
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that was the last game at Veterans Stadium. But I mean, this is kind of a little off topic, but what was it like to win there and know that I think there was a stat saying that the Buccaneers haven't, I think it was like their percentage was below like 50 with I guess it was cold weather games.
Yeah, I think it's below. I'm gonna say 40. I'm gonna make that up.
Yeah.
We actually beat Philly in the vet for the NFC Championship game, the last game. We actually opened up Lincoln Memorial the next year. So we closed it down the vet and opened up the Lincoln Memorial. But I'll be honest with you, we had so many great games with Philly. And for 2 or 3 years, I played against them a bunch when I was in Washington, then Tampa. They kind of had our number. They were our nemesis, to be honest with you. They beat us in the playoffs 2 years in a row, beat us in the regular season twice, beat us earlier in that year, October 20th. That year we actually to beat them. So they had great players. Some guys went on to make Hall of Fame, and you knew it was always going to be an ugly battle. It's going to be just a tough game, and nothing. It wasn't ever going to be pretty. And so when we went back up there to win that game and the championship in a NFC Championship game, it felt like our Super Bowl because they'd been our nemesis. So it was a big game for us to win in the cold, to win on the road against a tough team. So much respect to all them Eagle fans and that moment. But that was our time. That was our day.
For sure. And it must have been menacing to see a guy like Brian Dawkins in the backfield as well, too. I mean, just seeing him on the other side. I mean, was he a scary player in reality?
He was a great player. Obviously, he's Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You don't really get when you're playing. You don't really. We had great players. They had great players. We had some Hall of Famers. They had some Hall of Famers. So you don't really get into like somebody in awe of anybody. I think it's more of respect is what it is. And like, we're going to duke it out here. We played against him a bunch, but he was a tremendous player, great instincts, played with a lot of energy, and ended up playing with Denver. Had an unbelievable career. So all the respect in the world for him. But he definitely, when he came out for war, when they did the start lineups on defense, he would do his dance down there and come calling out. It's pretty wild to watch what he did. But he's one of the all-time great Eagles.
For sure. I think it was Austin. Is it your question or is it mine?
No, it's yours.
Okay.
Question 8. I think. Oh no, question 6.
Question 6. All right, perfect. What teammates push you to become better and maybe became like close with you, like friend wise?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think my quarterback rooms, I had some great quarterbacks I was with. I was with Rich Gannon and Wade Wilson and Sean Salisbury and Warren Moon and Jim McMahon. And I mean, the list goes on. So I think the one thing I always learned about with quarterbacks is in the room itself, you're competing, but then you're also working with each other. And I felt like in competition, the more I pulled against someone, usually the better that they did. So I became, let me be a great teammate, especially when I was a backup, and just, cheer the other guy on, help him out if there's anything he needs to know or whatever it is, and those kind of things. But play with some great players, Chris Carter and Randy Moss as receivers, through Chris Carter and Tim Brown, their 100th touchdown pass, through Randy Moss's first touchdown pass. But I think it's some great players I played in Tampa. I think of Warren Sapp and John Lynch. John Lynch was my roommate for 3 years. Now he went on to be a general manager. Rondé Barber and Derek Brooks and Mike Allstott, Keyshawn Johnson. I mean, you still see a lot of these guys on TV, whoever they are, Jason Witten in Dallas and Tony Romo. So what I'd say about all these guys, I can mention 1,000 different names, but what I'd say about those guys in the pros is that you respected how hard they worked, the way they prepared, the way they were consistent with, taking care of their bodies and being able to be consistently good, not 1 week at a time, like year after year after year. That's what you saw the greatness of them. So just have so much respect for so many of those guys that I play with, but some of the coaches that I play with too. I know it's a long answer, but I play with Denny Green and Brian Billick, who won a Super Bowl, and Tony Dungy and Norv Turner and John Gruden and Wade Phillips and Jason Garrett. I mean, I play with so many great coaches, and Mike Tomlin, who's at Pittsburgh now. And I mean, just it's phenomenal. So I'm grateful in my career for all the players and coaches that I play with and for.
Great
That's
answer.
awesome.
Yeah, no, we're fine with long answers. That's totally fine. No
I love
worries.
long answers. I love hearing people,
no worries.
Former player stories and stuff. It's awesome. Next question for you. What were your emotions when you played in a game?
Going into a game?
Yeah, like going into a game, my bad.
Yeah, you know what? I think the more you play, it's just you feel I don't think I was ever overhyped for a game. I think there's so much work that goes into the off season, to the training camp, to a weekly schedule, to playing 16 game schedules, to the 4 preseason games. So I think I always felt confident and comfortable. The biggest thing for me, honestly, was to be on the same page with my receivers and understanding the blocking protections and knowing my hots and side adjustments and my audibles and those kind of things. So I think I spent so much time into the playbook of just knowing where everybody was supposed to be that always made me feel confident and comfortable in the game plan. And then as a quarterback, I mean, there's a few things you got to be really, really good at. You got to be accurate with the ball. You got to be a great decision maker. You got to manage the game to get it to second, medium, and third and short, and then be able to convert, be able to score touchdowns in the red zone, to be able to handle 2-minute situations, and then handle handle the players around you. Not everything's going to go well as a quarterback, and then be able to, you throw an interception, like how's the team going to respond? How's the stadium's going nuts? I mean, think about throwing an interception in Philadelphia. How would that be as a quarterback? You know what I mean? So, but you got to have tough, thick skin to be able to handle and manage all those kind of things. That's what the greatness of being a quarterback and the preparation that goes into each particular game. So, emotionally, I was always prepared for the game, but I don't think I'd ever get too hyped up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome to hear.
All right, so this question, this is actually a pretty interesting question. What do you think of the other leagues like the USFL and the XFL trying to make a return, and what kind of opportunities does it open for players that didn't get drafted or they didn't make their mark in the NFL?
Yeah, I love the leagues because it gives guys a chance to extend their careers, whether they get an opportunity to go back to the NFL or not. You get to play for a team. It's professional football. You're making money, and you're playing ball, the game you love. So I'm thankful for a league called the World League. I played in the World League in 1995. Played over in London. For me, it was a chance to go play, a chance to go make mistakes, a chance to make plays, to be the leader of the team. And to play a 10-game schedule and try to win a championship. So the hardest part about these leagues, to be honest with you, okay, the hardest part is there's a 90-man roster that they already have. So if you're on these XFL or USFL teams right now, are you going to be able to get picked up? So there's this thing called transaction wire. Okay, it's constant, it's fluid, it's liquid, it's coming. So if you do play, you play well. All these NFL teams and scouts and general managers, they are watching that film. They're watching college film. They're watching junior college film. They're watching USFL, XFL. They're watching all of it. So, but the biggest thing is, can you learn that system and then get to an NFL training camp in July, August, and learn that one and be ready to play and learn the system? Because a lot of those guys right now, those 9-man rosters, they're already there now in the OTAs, the mini camps. So it's a tough thing, but it's the chance you got to take.
Perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, because it's make or break once you get to the NFL.
Exactly.
And let's see. Next question for you. Do your kids play football or plan on pursuing an NFL career?
Yep. We have my wife, Nikki, and I, we have 2 boys, Max and Jake. Max is a quarterback. He was at LSU last year. He transferred actually to Texas A&M. I saw him 35 touchdowns, 7 picks. He transferred over to Texas A&M. My younger one's a tight end, and he's at Texas A&M also. So we kind of let them live out their dream, and we help them out and support them in any way that they can. But they love football, and they definitely want to pursue their career as long as they can.
I can't wait to see him play.
Yeah, hopefully they can throw a touchdown. I mean, hopefully your one son can throw a touchdown to the other one. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be
It'll
awesome.
be Johnson to Johnson. So we'll see what happens.
That would be awesome. That would be like a legendary story for sure.
Yep.
That would be awesome. So, I think this is one of the last questions. It's my last question, but this is actually something to do with TikTok, actually. But what made you want to join TikTok and start doing trick shots specifically? Were you doing trick shots before there was ever a TikTok, or did you just kind of start doing it recently?
Yeah, during the pandemic, the kids were home and we were working out all the time. We were in the house playing checkers and Connect Four and whatever it was, and they got on TikTok, and I was like, "What is that? What are y'all looking at?" I couldn't figure it out, and then so then I got on there, and I started making a lot of videos of my career, of workout videos, and then I started seeing people start making trick shots. So I said, I'm going to do something a little bit different with my trick shots. So my goal when I do mine is to make a sequence, a multiple of 3, 4, maybe 5 in a row. And I've done it with football and basketball. It may be spinning the football off my finger and making a layup and then throwing a football with my right hand, then throwing a football with my left hand, the length of the court, or it may be over the backboard with basketball shots and off my head. It gets crazy. Some of these trick shots that I've made.
I've seen them. It's insane.
Yeah.
I have fun. So a lot of times people ask, how long does it take? And I'll either say first time, first take, or I'll tell you it takes a lifetime of practice, or I'll tell you it takes what it takes. So some of them happen in 5 minutes. Some of them have happened. It took me 15 hours on one of them. So
really,
wow. Some of that stuff is hard. Wow. So that I've tried to make it where it's not just a luck, one trick shot, like it's a multiple of 3, 4, and 5 in a row. So when you see me celebrate, that is true jubilation, man. It is a lot has gone into a lot of stuff. Yeah. And so for me, it's just about exercise. It's about having fun and setting a goal. If I can do these trick shots and then they go in, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I played high school basketball, and I've been playing since I was 7, and I still don't know how to spin the basketball on my fingers. So you might have to teach me that eventually.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this. I'm 53 now, okay? Right. So growing up, I didn't do trick shots, okay? Right. So I was all about skills and drills and for the kill. That's where I was at. But because I think practice what happens in games. Like if you're practicing spinning the ball, like as a youth kid, okay, like it doesn't happen in games. Practice your foul shot. Practice a dribble drive. Practice the concepts that happen. So that's the only thing I tell kids. Like if you're trying to be a great player, practice what happens in games, and then when you get older like me, then do all the trick shots you want and have fun with it.
Yeah, perfect. That's awesome. So, our final question for you for tonight. What do you think about the future of football, and what modifications would you like to see them add or get rid of? Yeah,
football is a great game. Mm-hmm. Love it. I started as a little kid and played all the way through high school and college, and obviously a long career. And then now I've coached at every level. And the game has changed a lot, From equipment, I mean, I didn't wear leather helmets, but the helmets have really improved. Okay. The safety has improved. I think there's been more injuries in cheerleading and soccer as there has been in football, to be honest with you, if you do the stats. So with concussions and those kind of things. So every sport you play is dangerous, but I think the equipment has gotten better. I think the rules have gotten better of protecting the players. And so I love that part of it. And but I'd say, for a kid that's getting ready to start out, hopefully you get the right coaching of how to block, how to tackle, how to keep your head up, those kind of things, and also just be a great teammate. But the rules have changed. The only two rules that I'd like to see change at this point, to be honest with you, when I played in the World League, we had a if you kicked a field goal over 50 yards, it counted for 4 points. So a guy named Don Sylvester, he did it. I would like to see that rule implemented as a 4-point 50-yard field goal, and then plays over 30 yards. I wish they would wait on the play clock and start it when the team gets in the huddle down there. A lot of times teams have to burn a timeout or delay a game kind of happens.
Right. All right, so we're going to let in a couple guests before you leave. But
would you like to speak to a few guests?
Yeah, we'll do it.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so we're going to let in this person. Here he is.
What up? What up, guys?
Here he is, Matt.
What's happening?
What's happening?
How you doing, buddy?
Nothing much. Just watching a hockey game right now.
You got any questions for Brad?
Yeah, you got any questions?
Yeah,
for Brad?
actually, I got two. I got two questions. So my first question is how big is the difference between this playing in a regular season NFL game to playing in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, you're just playing against the best. You're playing against the best, and you have to go through a whole season of those games. And every week, if you don't play your best, you got a chance to get beat. But the media attention that gets drawn into that game is incredible, and you don't really realize it when you're playing the game as much as you just get lost into the game. But the speed of the game doesn't change. You want it, but the biggest deal is be able to control your emotions as a player and not get too overhyped for that game, because you can get way overhyped and kind of do things that aren't really a part of the game plan, trying to be a hero, those kind of things. So, but it's incredible to be a part of it, and hopefully everybody gets a chance to do it. But it's hard to get there, and then hard to win it.
Yeah, and the second question I want to ask is, first off, I followed you on TikTok. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Probably one of the more recent followers,
okay,
the top. But the first video I clicked, I saw you were on the quarterback challenge back in the day, and you were going up against Tom Brady. How cool was that, going up against Tom Brady? Well, at the time he was the youngest guy, pretty much.
Yeah, I won the quarterback. I went to the quarterback challenge twice, and I won it in 2003. And so it came down to that last event that you see on TikTok, and it's on my pin deal. And I ended up beating Tom by hundredths of a second. And then, so it made me the champion for that day and won a lot of money and those kind of things and that honor. But the year before, Tom had won the Super Bowl. And then that year, it was a so-so year for him. Then he ended up winning the next 2 Super Bowls. He won 3 out of 4 Super Bowls in that span. And so when he lost that day, that took place in February. Okay, it was over in Los Angeles, California, I believe, and he lost, and he was pissed, man.
Yeah,
he was hot, but you knew what kind of competitor he was. You know what I mean? He was smart, he was tough. He's that guy. He's that guy
that when he loses, he wants to outdo himself the next week.
Yeah, and he's just not. Yeah, and but he obviously he's won 7 Super Bowls, lost 3, went to 4 other AFC championship games.
2 of them to me and Austin's team.
Yeah.
But, and one's mine.
Yeah. But they're just a tremendous competitor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tremendous competitor.
Yeah. So,
all right, Matt.
You have anything else?
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right, sounds good.
All righty.
Yeah. Talk to you guys later.
Catch you later,
Matt.
Matt.
All right. So this person you might be familiar with.
Yeah, I think you're
before.
familiar with him.
He's actually the guy who was able to get us in contact with you. So shout out to Nico. But here he is.
What's up,
What's up,
Brad?
Nico? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, Brad?
Doing good, man. Good to see you.
Hey, man, I want to ask you something real quick. This is kind of a dorky question, but I have to ask you because, I'm familiar with you now. So are you taking Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp quarterback wide receiver duo, or you and me at wide receiver quarterback duo?
I knew this was coming.
Come on, Brad.
Well,
I could play the slot too, dude. I'm telling you, I'm putting up 2,000 yards, dude.
well, hey, I respect your game. But here's the problem. I haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Hey,
you gotta
listen.
send him a mixtape, man.
Gotta send us some highlights.
Brad,
I
I'm
need to
telling
see
you.
the mixtape.
Brad,
Send it
I'll
to
send
me.
you the Brad. I don't listen. I can't do trick shots, but I can run straight, and you can just throw it, and I'll find a way to catch it. I got
If
you,
you just stick out your hands, run fast, it'll catch itself right there.
dude. Yeah, I played wide receiver in high school. That should be a good enough resume to be your number one
All right,
receiver.
we'll try it. Let's take them on. We'll do it.
Yeah, forget about Keyshawn and Keenan McCardle, bro.
I'm picking you right now. Let's go.
How you doing though? I feel like how you doing?
Yeah, doing great. Everything's really good. So
That's awesome. These boys treating you right?
Yeah, it's been a good interview. They've done well. It's been great.
Good. Yeah, no, they told me that they wanted to interview someone. I was like, you got to go to Big Bad Brad. I mean, how could you?
Got popular demand, so we're doing it.
Yeah, I hit up your boy Allstott. He told me he'll let me know.
Yeah,
he has like the foundation. I was reading about it. He has like the Mike Allstott Foundation. That's pretty cool.
He's got a great foundation down there. It's a big golf tournament, and then they do all kinds of stuff. It's a 3-day weekend. They raise a lot of money. But he's been down there in St. Pete and Tampa, and he's been down there for a long time.
Right,
big in the community. So he's been a big part of giving back.
My serious question though, and I only ask this because you know me. I'm a Washington fan, so I'm going to ask you this question. And you played for us too, so I got to ask. How many years is it going to take for us to win a chip, man? Like legitimately, like how close do you think we are as a former player perspective? And you look at a team, how long do you think it'll be for us to win a Super Bowl?
It's been a long time.
Yes.
A long time. I'll say this. I thought 2 years ago they were legit. They had Tampa. When Tampa won it, they gave Tampa the best game. When Tom was lucky to get out of that game up in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And then actually they beat them. They beat them this past year up there. So
yeah, well, are you
talking
about the year that you played?
Henneke had him. He had him on the ropes. He played him a good game. Defense played great. Yeah. And then this past year they beat him. They beat him.
You have no idea how much I screamed like a little girl. You have no idea. That was my Super Bowl right there. That was my. I'll take that win over Tom Brady any day of the week.
No doubt. But it's going to be fun to watch Carson Wentz, see how he does. And
it's so fun.
It'll be a chance for him to prove himself and see how good the team is.
You said it yourself. Prove himself. I mean, you said it yourself. Well, Brad, I'm gonna let you go. Brad, we'll talk soon.
All right, Nico. See you, buddy.
See you, man.
All right, so that was Nico.
Yeah,
the next person is a good friend of Austin's, and he's actually a Giants fan as well. Here's Gabe.
Yes, sir.
What's up, brother?
What's up, KJ? What's up, Austin? What's up, Brad?
What's up, Gabe?
So, I have some questions for you, Brad. What was like your go-to teammate in your whole NFL career to like go out and have some fun one night or something?
Ooh.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 of them. Okay, so my best bud in Minnesota, we were roommates for 6 years on the road in training camp. His name was Chris Walsh. He played at Stanford, started out at Buffalo. In Minnesota, he was the all-time leading special teams tackler. Okay, great leader, but you talk about going out and having fun at nighttime. It was Chris Walsh, number 81, White Lightning. All right, and then in Tampa, my guy was John Lynch and Rondé Barber, and Mike Allstott. Those are my guys. If we were gonna have a good time, and then Jason Witten was my guy in Dallas.
So, along the similar lines, are you still in contact with any of your former teammates?
Yeah, I am. It's harder. The more you get away from each other, now they have reunions, those kind of things, or guys like we talked about Mike Allstott or whoever they are. Different guys have different golf tournaments or those kind of things. So we'll get together there. But the day-to-day contact, now you kind of start living different lives, and we all have different families and live in different places, so you kind of lose touch with each other a little bit. But when you do see each other at these events, then it kind of comes back to best buds, never lost time.
And I don't know if KJ and Austin asked this question. They might have, but what is your favorite memory from the Super Bowl season?
Yeah, I think, the best moment for me was after winning the Super Bowl and then holding my son Max, and confetti was falling on our face, and I'm saying I'm going to Disney World with my wife Nikki and John Gruden, and my wife Nikki's pregnant with the other son Jake. So that's pretty incredible to say, to be that guy saying that, having that moment. But I do think going back in time was, actually beating Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game, just because they were our nemesis. They had our number. They'd beaten us a bunch. Not many people gave us a chance, but to win that game was pretty special.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys get to some other guests, but Brad, thanks for answering those questions. I appreciate that. And Austin, KJ, I'll talk to you later.
Have a good night.
Gabe. Thanks for
All
joining
right.
in.
Thanks, Gabe.
All right, so
Our next guest is another Giants fan.
yeah.
Got the Giants fans showing up.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, thank you for having me on. Hey, nice to meet you, Brad Johnson.
All right, nice to meet you, bud.
My question is, while playing football, let me say it again. When you were playing football, how do you feel about fans saying oh, you should have made that throw, you shouldn't got that first down, you should have ran for it? How do you feel? Do you think fans could be harsh?
Fans can say whatever they want to say. So you have that right to say whatever you want to say. But, I'm gonna be nice about it, okay? So if people say great things about it, you love it, okay? If they don't, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't decipher who knows the difference between a screen door and a screen pass, okay? So I can't get caught up into the motions of what do people know, or people just trying to be funny in the stands. That's your job, that's your business. That's how you make your livelihood. So, you can get caught up into yelling back and forth with the fans, and that does happen. But, hopefully people cheer for you. But here's the deal. As a quarterback, there's only two. They only keep the record for two people, the head coach and the quarterback. So wins and losses, they matter. You know what I mean? And you always say a pat on the back and slap on the face are 6 inches away. So at that level, there's two P words. It's either potential or it's performance. And a lot of guys, young guys, you have the potential to be great. So they kind of keep you around as it goes on for your career, and you got to perform. So hopefully people cheer for you. That's what you want. You need great fan support. It helps when you play the home games and those kind of things. But that's kind of where it is with the people, kind of yapping.
Yeah, and my last question is, do you feel like players nowadays are a little too much on social media and not worried about the game? Because that could really affect.
Yeah,
their play.
100%. That's a great thing you said. Okay, so listen, when I played, we didn't have phones, we didn't have text, we didn't have Twitter, social media, emails. We didn't have any of those kind of things. So the only thing, I never saw myself play on TV until about my 14th or 15th in the year when we got DVR. Okay, so I'd never even seen myself play. Really, never even saw I never read the paper unless the clips were in the locker room the next day. So now everything is instantaneous. Whether it's, during the game you can pick up social medias real quick, and then you get. I think players, the greatness of players is to be great at your craft, be great at what happens in games, be great at what can make you the best professional is. Now, is there a chance to make money in social media? There is, but you're going to make more money by you performing year after year after year by playing well. So social media is a part of it, but I think as a player now, if I played now, I would have my agent, marketing guy, do all my social media for me. To be honest with you, it's just too much to handle, I think, as a whole.
All right. Thank you for having me on, guys, and nice to meet you again, Brad Johnson, and have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, buddy. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So
and our final guest.
Yeah, our final guest is Preston. What's going on, Preston?
Yo, what's up, guys? What's up, Brad? Nice to meet you. So, I actually have two questions for you. One is, if you could go back and well, currently play with a current player, anybody, who would it be?
Well, his career is kind of coming to. He's getting a little bit older. Okay, but I think a great player that I would have loved to play with was Julio Jones. All right,
Wow.
so he's probably at the. I think he's a great route runner, great hands. He's fast. A lot of times, fast guys can only catch. They can. I think he can run every route in the playbook. So I think he would be one guy that I actually would have wanted to play with. Two other players going back in my time that I would have wanted to play with was receiver Torrey Holt for the Rams, and the other one was Marshall Faulk. I threw it to the backs on checkdowns and option routes and wheel routes all the time, and those are two other guys. I played with a lot of legends, a lot of great players, but those have been two other dream guys that I would have wanted to play with too.
Yeah, another one is I think a lot of people ask you, what was it like winning the Super Bowl? I know a lot of people do this.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a dream come true. I had those dreams when I was your age, and it's the ultimate dream. I mean, it's the ultimate game that you can play in. Football is the ultimate team game. And to win that, it is the most watched game in the world. It's a one-game showdown game. And, I talked about earlier, there's only 35 guys that ever won it as quarterbacks. And so it's pretty unique. But to see that confetti fall on your face, to hear, the song "We Are the Champions of the World," it's pretty awesome. To go back to Tampa for us and have the parade, it was pretty awesome. And so one moment in time to be a part of the greatest team ever was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you it was nice meeting you guys. Thanks, KJ, and thanks, Austin. Nice meeting you.
No problem, Preston. Thanks for joining in.
Good to see you, Preston.
All right. Should we let in this person, or I don't know who this person even is?
Nah, I want it.
Yeah, no,
I'm not even
gonna risk it.
Be careful.
Yeah, I'm not gonna risk it. You know what? That was a good guess to finish off with. So, yeah, there you go. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it. But thank you so much, Brad, for joining us. Me and Austin really appreciate it, and yeah, thanks again. We really
I'm
appreciate
happy
it.
you took time out of your night to do this. It really means a lot.
No,
for sure.
Yeah, you guys are beginning your careers. You're gonna have great careers at it. Be great at your craft. Appreciate you guys reaching out. It's got to be bold sometimes, and it's gonna be fun to keep up with you guys. So thank you.
For sure.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right, man. See you guys.
All right.
Have a good night.